Welcome to New Light Living Podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. This video is a galactic astrology reading of the full moon in Aquarius on August 1st, 2023. Galactic astrology is taking us to a multidimensional level, a perspective where we reach out in the cosmos to relate to fixed stars, celestial bodies, and galactic points. So start integrate that perspective as part of our view of what's going on around us. What I do in these videos is that I add an outer layer of fixed stars, celestial bodies, and galactic points to the traditional astrology wheel. I use Western tropical astrology and pull out three key themes from a galactic astrology perspective that I see are key to this full moon. And I also give you a couple of questions at the end to work with. Galactic astrology can give you an expanded view of who you truly are and what is influencing us here on Earth at this time. Are you curious about your galactic alignments? You also have a galactic chart. Check my contact information in the description box down here and find out. Let's take a look at the chart for this full moon in Aquarius. Here you can see the chart for the full moon in Aquarius. And as you can see, the moon is at the bottom of the chart in Aquarius, opposite the sun in Leo. And Aquarius and Leo, if you think about Aquarius, representing the future, technology, and where we're headed into the age of Aquarius. And the sun is shining light on the moon in Aquarius at this time from a heart-based place in Leo. And we're going to talk about Leo quite a lot today because we have a lot going on in the sign of Leo. But I want to point your attention to the ruler of this full moon is Uranus. Uranus is now in Taurus at 22 degrees. And right now, we are infused with cosmic galactic energy at this full moon. So it's really, really highlighted. I just wanted to point that out to start off with. Uranus is opposite the fixed star Beta Centauri. Beta Centauri is representing energy of an utopian character of unconditional love, such as unity consciousness. So Uranus is here to infuse cosmic unconditional love as part of being the ruler of this full moon. The sun and the moon are also making a T-square to Jupiter, and Jupiter at 13 degrees of Taurus is aligned conjunct with Andromeda-Almach. Andromeda-Almach represent the energy of embodiment, and in Taurus here, it's all about embody divine feminine energy. So there is a collaboration here between Beta Centauri and Andromeda-Almach to really, with Jupiter, that alignment to expand this influence that we feel at this point. We are being guided by Jupiter to invite and embody divine feminine energy, both through Beta Centauri energy, but also Andromeda-Almach alignment. And a T-square is an invitation to grow. So I also want to point out that the nodes, the North Node and the South Node, the North Node now at 28 degrees of Aries and the South Node at 28 degrees of Libra are now really starting to root themselves in their new signs. There just happened a shift between signs here. And the North Node is conjunct the Andromeda Galaxy, even closer than just the new moon that we just had. But Andromeda Galaxy is located at 28 degrees of Aries. The South Node is still conjunct the Shapley Attractor and Haumea, the asteroid Haumea. And this alignment is a long-term alignment, obviously, as the nodes move slowly, and so does Haumea. And the Shapley Attractor have an orb of at least 5 degrees. So that at least that's what we're working with in galactic astrology. So I just wanted to point out this really important guidance from the future, but also the guidance to release and bring in new Earth energy through the energy of Haumea. They're sitting at the South Node, suggesting that, okay, when you release energy, you also want to refill it with new energy that is connected to Earth, connected to your environment, embodied energy. And again, the T-square is still maintained with Pluto here. And as you can see in dark gray here. And I just want to highlight that this is a fundamental collaboration between the Andromeda Galaxy and the Shapley Attractor. There's, and also Pluto's guidance or energy that is being received through the trine from Pleidades. And I know we've talked about that in a couple of videos here, but it's important to acknowledge the long-term guidance that we have. And this chart points out that it's really our guidance at this point for permanent transformation is through the Pleiades, is through the Andromeda Galaxy and the Shapley Attractor. The first theme I want to point out here from a galactic astrology perspective are the alignments to what I call energy of the future. And why do I say that? I want you to pay attention and draw your attention to the moon here in Aquarius at the bottom of the chart. The moon is collaborating and receiving supportive energy from the Stargate, Aldebaran and Antares. As you can see, Aldebaran is at 10 degrees of Gemini. Antares is located at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. These two royal fixed stars are representing an energy of a stargate. And galactic heritage is suggesting that a lot of multidimensional intergalactic travel is happening all the time in this stargate. And for this stargate to be activated through a trine and a sextile at this full moon suggests that there's an invitation for us to shift our perspectives, look outside our box that we're often placing ourselves in, and consider new perspectives. That's how I interpret this activation of the Stargate at this full moon. In addition, we have a trine to a fixed star, Alpha Reticulum, in the Reticulum constellation. And Reticulum is associated with advanced future energy. And what I mean with that is Reticulum is from the future, energy where we may receive influences, insights, downloads from the future. And at this full moon, which is in the futuristic sign of Aquarius, I'm not surprised to see a supportive sextile to Alpha Reticulum, feeding us with energy from the future. And the sun subsequently is receiving a trine from Alpha Reticulum. And I want to show you Reticulum, how it's a very faint little picture here, but I've placed an arrow where you can see Reticulum constellation in the sky. And there's the fixed star Arcanar and the fixed star Canopus. And also you can see the large Magellanic cloud there in the vicinity of the Reticulum constellation. And Alpha Reticulum sits at 8 degrees of Aries. The way I interpret this activation at this full moon of Alpha Reticulum and the Stargate of Aldebaran and Antares is one of future guidance. I see this as an invitation to start opening up to future energies, future new chapters that are coming, an expansion in our willingness to see and welcome the future from a heart-based standpoint. Leo is here. The sign of Leo is really asking us to step into our heart and live and guide ourselves from that perspective, while Aquarius, emphasis on Aquarius, this full moon is all about the future and welcoming a new perspective, a multidimensional perspective to become and see ourselves as galactic citizens. The second theme here you may have seen before, and it's even more highlighted here. So I have summarized this Fire Trine and the Yod pointing to Venus here, because it's still a very strong theme in this energy signature of this full moon. And if you haven't seen previous videos, or you want to go back to the previous videos, the new moon video in Cancer, you'll get a longer view of this. But I want to highlight it again, because the energy signature here and the alignments that active that are influencing us from a galactic perspective are very much the same as 2 weeks ago, or even 3-4 weeks ago. And to highlight, to summarize, Hydra Alphard is a energy that Venus is conjunct now, and Venus has just turned retrograde. So Venus alignment with Hydra Alphard is that energy of Kundalini, of life force, of passion, and it's such a strong alignment. And even now, when Venus is retrograde, it gives us the invitation to go inside and really, really, for the future, find out what you're passionate about and live from that perspective. I cannot emphasize more that this grand fire trine is holding us in a, we're sitting around the campfire basically, and staring into the fire here with Venus at the very top of the fire, if you will, helping us to kind of, okay, what is it in my life that I'm here to do? What is my life force? What is my purpose? And also Pluto and Neptune in the building the foundation of the Yod here in green, pointing directly to Venus, and her alignment to Hydra Alphard is such a strong energy signature. Venus is also trine the Andromeda Galaxy, so she is receiving influences from our sister galaxy, suggesting that we may not know everything, and we may not know everything about our purpose or life force here, but new influences with this full moon is suggested to be received. And as I mentioned before, Pluto is receiving a constant trine to Pleidades here. So he's fed with energy from the Pleidades as part of one of the pillars of this Yod. Neptune is square the Super Galactic Center at 2 degrees of Libra, and square the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, and has been doing that for a long time. This is an energy that is holding and feeding our spiritual expansion, basically, right now. Venus is also receiving a trine from the North Node and Eris. North Node and Eris are coming together here, influenced by the Andromeda Galaxy. And it really is a guidance for our future, how to incorporate our sense of self, our self-worth, our self-love, which is the guidance that is flowing between Venus and the North Node and Eris here. The third theme is very similar to our new moon theme in previous reading I did. However, now Mercury has taken Mars's place in this opposition with Saturn. Saturn is still conjunct the royal star Fomalhaut, which is associated with Archangel Gabriel, so angelic energy, and Archangel Gabriel specifically, which has to do with your creativity, allowing you in Pisces to tap into your spirituality, and is guided by creativity. That's how I interpret this alignment with Saturn and Fomalhaut. And Mercury in Virgo here is all about listening and to the messages that we receive and heal from them, heal using our intuition. This full moon in Aquarius is an expansion into future, opening up to future influences from the heart perspective. And when we open up to the future from the heart perspective, we welcome the future. We welcome change. We are not in fear. We are allowing change to happen. And the big players in this full moon from a galactic perspective is Hydra Alphard, very much in focus to activate and help us activate our life force through the Venus alignment in Leo. And also Andromeda Galaxy showing us the way with its alignment to the North Node here at 28 degrees of Aries, just in the beginning of its journey in Aries, but it's a connection with influences outside our comfort zone, if you will. Activation from a futuristic constellation such as Alpha Reticulum, allowing us to start receiving information, downloads from the future. Pluto and Neptune building with its alignments to the galactic points, the foundation of this change here on Earth. Pluto in a very strong position here, squaring the North Node and the South Node. Neptune keeping a square to the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, and the opposition to the Super Galactic Center at 2 degrees of Libra, holding this transformation in place. Jupiter in alignment with Andromeda-Almach, opposite Beta Centauri. Both these influences are of the divine love, divine unconditional love character. So we're asked now with Jupiter there to expand on that, to step into the future based on unity consciousness. And the Stargate, Aldebaran, Antares activated alongside the futuristic constellation of Reticulum. And we are welcome to start opening up to influences and downloads that actually come from the future. So here are a couple of questions that you're invited to work with based on the galactic energy signature of this full moon. The first question is, how do you want to live your life moving forward? Will it be heart-centered or will it not? Because we have a choice point right now with the highlight and focus on Hydra Alphard and what that energy represents in its alignment to Venus, which is all about heart-centered way of living. So how can you step into more of a heart-based way of living? Maybe it's not for you, but this is a choice point. It feels like a very strong direction towards the future with a square to Jupiter, suggesting here it is, unity consciousness, heart-based living is, we're holding it for you to expand. Andromeda energy and Beta Centauri energy, both with energy signatures of unconditional love. The second question is, how can you tap into your passion, your life force in a different way, in a way that serves your future. That fire trine involving Venus, the galactic center, and the North Node and Aries are really a ring of fire, if you will, that wants to hold us in a like a campfire. You're sitting around and really talking about what you love about your life, and that we're invited to have that as a focus instead of external noise that we may be affected by. The third question is, how can you listen to your intuition and live from that place, gain your guidance from there? And this is suggested by Saturn's and Fomalhaut's influence here with Mercury opposition in Virgo. It's how can you heal from the messages that you hear within yourself? Thank you for being here. If you're new, welcome. If you're here again, thank you so much for coming back. I love doing these readings, and I cannot wait to give you a nugget of the next video, which is going to be a new moon in Leo on August 16. There will be different energies galactically involving that new moon. Arcturus energy is coming in. Orion energy is emphasized. So stay with me for that. Look out for the next video. If you're curious about your own galactic heritage and your soul's galactic journey, check out my contact information below in the description box, and you feel free to reach out.